welcome to this new video. Today we are going to talk about probe in Kubernetes, right? We talk about probe in Kubernetes. So what are probe in Kubernetes? Simple word, probe in Kubernetes is just like a doctor, right? The probe in Kubernetes is just like a doctor that is there to check for health check. So the probe is just a doctor in Kubernetes that is there for health check. So in simple language, we are going to say, think of probe as health check, health check on the container. So probe are actually the mechanism that Kubernetes use to perform health check on the container. Just like when you go to your doctor will actually perform health check on you to make sure that everything is all right. So probe are Kubernetes mechanism, like I mentioned, used to determine the health of the container running in the pod, right? They help Kubernetes understand when the container is ready to serve traffic, when it's alive and healthy, or when it needs to be restarted. So Kubernetes actually use probe to actually restart container. So it tells Kubernetes if the container, when the container is ready, it tells Kubernetes when the container is also ready to accept traffic, and it tells Kubernetes if the container is also alive or not. So we have three types of probe. So the first probe is called liveness probe, right? Liveness probe determines if the container is running and healthy, and if the liveness probe fails, Kubernetes will restart the container. So liveness probe is just a mechanism that Kubernetes use to check if the container is actually alive, and if the container failed the liveness probe, Kubernetes will go ahead and try to restart it, right? It's used to prevent situation where the container becomes stuck in an unhealthy state, but continue to run in receive traffic. So liveness probe, like simple language, is just a mechanism that Kubernetes use to check if actually the container is running, right? We used to check the container is alive and running, for example. So it's like a doctor checking if a patient is still alive and kicking. If not, the patient get revived, right? Just like checking if the container is alive. So another one is called the readiness probe. The readiness probe determines if the container is ready to serve traffic. If the readiness probe fails, Kubernetes is removed from the service endpoint and traffic is not sent to it, right? So readiness probe is just there to make sure that the container is ready and to accept traffic. So readiness probe means that the container is ready. Check if the container is ready to accept traffic. It's used to ensure that only fully initialized and healthy container receive traffic from services or ingress, right? So that's what Kubernetes use to redirect traffic. If a container is not if a container is not running, Kubernetes is not going to send traffic to that, of course, right? Container is not running, Kubernetes will send traffic. So the liveness probe, make sure it's there to check the container is ready. The readiness probe is there to check if the container is actually ready to accept traffic, right? Ready to accept connection. And imagine, for example, it's similar to a restaurant waiter checking if the table is ready to receive guests. If not, the table is temporarily taken out of the service until ready, right? So when you go to like, if you're a waitress in the restaurant, so you check if the table is ready to actually accept customers. You want to make sure that the table is clean, sanitized, the chair are well arranged before people come in. So you're performing the readiness probe there. So, and then we have another type of probe called the startup probe. Right? A startup probe determines if the container has started successfully within a specific time window after it's been launched. It's primarily used for application with long starting time. So, but usually you will barely see the startup probe. Most of the time, people use the liveness probe and readiness probe. So startup probe is just for like the application that will take time to deploy. So because Kubernetes will check the application in a reasonable amount of time, and if Kubernetes notice that the application is not running, Kubernetes will kill the container and try to restart it. So you can use startup probe to actually like tell Kubernetes to hold on a little bit, because some application might take a minute, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes to start. Some take 1 second, 5 seconds. So you can use a startup probe, for example, to tell Kubernetes to hold up. So startup probe is just there to make sure that the container has actually started, right? It's a kind of a car engine warming up after a cold start. If the engine doesn't start within a reasonable time, the car is giving another chance to restart. That's just the simple logic behind it, for example. So I have a specific YAML file here. For example, that's a YAML file that we have. So, but let me take you guys. This is a YAML file here. For example, we have this YAML file here. This is how we define the liveness probe. And this is how we define the readiness probe, and that's how we define the startup probe, for example. So if I come down here, I'll put that file into a file called kubernetes.yaml here. So if I cut that file, you have it. So we can actually say kubectl apply-f, and we call that file. It's going to create a deployment based on that. The kubectl get pod. Actually, it's going to hold on for 10 seconds because we put 10 seconds on the startup probe. If you look at startup probe here, initial delay second is actually at 10, right? So it's going to take 10 seconds before this start. So it's already started. And you guys can see everything is actually running here smoothly. Now, if we mess up this, for example, so let's take this down. Let's try to mess up the probe. Let's take this down. So I'm going to say delete. So that is going to delete. So I will vim into this file. Then I will try to mess up, for example, the liveness probe, right? Instead of saying port 8080, I will put some crazy stuff there. So let's mess up some stuff and see what Kubernetes is going to say. We know that all this is not correct, so we expect that to actually fail. So let's apply again. Here it won't even let us move on because the YAML file is messed up so badly. I think here when you say port, you only expect one number. So let's say port 8. Initial delay second might actually expect integer. Let's say 4 here. Let's say 8 here as well, so that it doesn't yell at us. If I say kubectl here, get port. I have it here. Let's wait. Not too sure if this is going to work or not because it depends. This is just like a simple NGINX application. As you guys can see, after 18 seconds, it has not started. Still, after 23 seconds, we say kubectl describe port. Kubernetes will tell us that it actually readiness probe failed, right? The container failed the readiness probe. It also failed the liveness probe. So that's why it's not starting, because it failed the readiness probe and it failed the liveness probe, for example. So if I say kubectl logs of this, this is actually the logs. So, but the container started, but it got killed, right? Because Kubernetes has actually passed the check and nothing happened. See, this application will never start. So let's just go ahead and kill it. So that was Kubernetes liveness probe, readiness probe, and startup probe. But like I mentioned, you will barely see startup probe out there. The most used is actually the liveness probe, and Kubernetes liveness probe is actually the mechanism that is used to check if the container is alive and running. And the readiness probe, the mechanism that makes sure that the container is actually ready to accept traffic. And the startup probe is actually the mechanism that Kubernetes use, for example, to tell Kubernetes to like, hey, hold off, right? Check if the container has started. I can tell Kubernetes that, hey, hold off, don't shut down the container yet. I hope you guys like the video. See you guys in the next video. Thank you.